Hello and welcome to another episode of the Appelboom Bites podcast. Today's episode number 71 already, and we have a very special episode because this episode is about newbie FountainPen users, beginners, entry-level writers, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to be a really interesting episode because we have a very special guest, but we also have a very experienced co-host who can explain everything to us.
Oh dear.
So, welcome, Doug, aka Inquiring Minds. Welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you very much. I'm awake this time.
Oh, that's great.
Kind of
For now.
let me,
Thanks for having me back again, Joost, after
yeah,
falling asleep on you last week. I'm
I'm
surprised
so
I'm
sorry.
back,
good.
but I'm really happy about this episode because, well, as sort of between Wendi and I, we kind of engineered this,
That's right.
didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. So I will have
So I'm
I
looking
will have a
forward to
really
it.
easy episode today. So I will lay back. I will do the introduction. After that, I will just leave, grab a cup of coffee, and then you guys
Sounds
can
good.
take over the show. I think that's completely
Get
fine,
yourself
right?
a pastry. Sounds good.
Yeah. All right,
I see
Doug,
a
would you
couple of
also
my
like to
people in the
introduce
chat.
our
Hi,
guest?
friends.
Would you like to introduce our guest, Doug? Because well, you're doing the show
Yes.
anyway, right?
Well, yeah, I'm doing the show. So,
Hmm.
hello, my name is Joost. Um, not really.
You're
Okay,
so
so
handsome.
this goes back to I started doing live streams on my channel a few months ago, and during one of my live streams, it was just after Yoast had asked me whether I'd come back and do another stint as a co-host, and Yoast had asked me whether I had any ideas for who you'd want to speak to, who you'd want to interview. So I asked my live stream folks that were on that Saturday what ideas you had. Who'd you like to speak to in the fountain pen world? And Wendi said, I think you should speak to me. And
I
I
pitched
said,
myself.
She picked herself, and I thought that was a terrific idea. She said, I'd like, because you talk to experts all the time, you talk to people with 30 years of experience, and that's not me, by the way, not me at all. But it'd be interesting for viewers to talk with someone who's relatively new to the fountain pen experience or the fountain pen world, as it were. And so she picked herself, and told Yost, I said, let's talk to Wendi Sue, the newbie from
That's
FountainPenNews.
right.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
you're
I
not
tell
such a
people
newbie anymore.
I'm a newbie, but not a novice. Because when I
Yes.
go into something, I go 100%,
Hmm.
real firm into it. And so I am in there. But I've only been in about a year.
And you've done marvelous work. I've done some research on you, Wendi, uh, because, well, you're a
Oh,
fan
Oh,
of
I
mine, so I
appreciate it. That's
research all
true.
my fans. And Wendi has a fountain pen YouTube channel as well called Fountain Pen News, and she's got some really interesting videos. I want you folks to go and look at her channel because there was a video that I saw the other day that was really interesting. I like gadgets and innovations and less expensive ways of dealing with issues that come up with fountain pen use. And everybody knows the ink miser or the traveling filler from Visconti or the one from Pennider to
Mhm.
help fill a piston filler because they can be difficult when you have low ink levels. Well, Wendi went out on her porch one evening and had a lovely moon in the sky, and she showed a really interesting technique, and I'm going to try that
You
of
should. I
how
should
to
get it. I want
refill
the
your
latest.
pen. It is a high-tech solution to
Very.
one of these problems and
now I
very
want to know.
inexpensive. Yeah,
Okay, so
well,
I will tell you, you don't have to have any good ideas if you know who to steal ideas from.
this
And I'm a work smarter, not harder
is
kind of
true.
person. So
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
actually got the idea from Chris Sines, who got it from someone else. And basically, what it is a little piece of tubing. You can do whatever length you want that fits over the end of the pen. And believe me, I just recently acquired the Pennider inkwell, and I still use the little tube hack.
Yeah.
It's so fast and easy to rinse out. So it's
Yeah,
just a
easy
little piece
clean.
of tubing. And on my video, I think I say what the inner diameter and the outer diameter have to be, and you just put it
Yeah,
on
I
there,
think
and
it's
then you can
3/8 or something.
pour your ink vial in there, and then piston it up.
Well, all you have to
Wow.
actually do is measure the section of your pen and make
Hmm.
sure the inside
Mhm.
diameter of that vinyl tubing is a little bit smaller because it stretches. It's a great idea. Great idea.
I
You
love
even
it.
offer to send it out to your fans.
I did. I did send it to a few people. Some
Yeah,
people
yeah.
get some weird packages from me. They get breast shims and they get weird pieces of tubing and all kinds of weird things.
Yeah. If it works,
Now
it
you
works.
see, you're a YouTube celebrity now.
Oh, hardly.
You're getting swag from fans.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
that's how you see that. All right. Let's welcome the people that are joining this live session. Mrs. Alchemist, good afternoon and hello. Hi, Wendi Sue.
Hi, friends. I
We
see a
have
bunch of my
here
friends here.
good
Thank you guys for
morning.
coming.
And we have Jenny Good. Good morning from the Rocky Mountains, USA. Looking forward to today's chat.
She's
It's
my
going to be a lot of
neighbor.
fun. That's your neighbor?
Yeah. I mean, neighbor as in a few miles away, but my neighbor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have here Becky Brilliant. Hey, Grill, I'm here as your chief cheerleader. Wow, look
She's
at
always my
that. You have this whole
cheerleader.
fan club going on. I
That's
love
right.
that. I love that.
That's right.
And this is correct indeed. There's still nip war going on in the store, so I moved back to my office. You know, I'm here in the basement of the store, and where nobody can see me. We're doing this live session
Get to
here.
work, Annabelle.
So
I haven't got my pen yet. Hurry up.
yeah, this is our other
Be
nip
nice
specialist.
to
So we have two
Annabelle,
nip
please.
Yeah,
specialists.
two of them now.
We
Yeah.
have two. We have two. So we have
Poor
Annabelle and
Annabelle.
Leonard, and Annabelle is off this week. She will be
Oh,
back next week, and this week we have Leonard checking the nips for us. We have also people from Phoenix, so love that. Hello, Blythe. All right. So if you have a question for any of us, shoot us a message in the comment section on YouTube or on Facebook. You can also do it on Instagram, but we won't see that. So yeah, that's just more like you can only watch it there, but we do not have an interaction. So if you want to join the conversation, head over to the YouTube channel, and there you can join it. Kevin is here as well. Hello, Wendi Sue and Doug. Love it. Love that everybody is joining us. All right, let's start the podcast. We always start the podcast with a pen check. And Doug, I would like to ask you to start with your pen check for today.
The pen check.
pen check. There we go.
Exactly.
I know the sound effects. Today's pen check is my first diplomat I've ever owned. I've used many of them, but this is the new Diplomat Viper.
Nice.
And it is a metal pen that has like a snake skin like texture to it, very smooth and
Mhm.
sleek. And the really cool thing about this pen is that it is a Parker 51 like hooded nib. And I'm a big fan of Parker 51s and Parker Vacuumatics and things like that, vintage pens. And this is a modern version of that pen. It's got the sleek hood that you expect from a Parker 51 like hooded nib pen.
Mhm.
It has a steel nib. It's anodized aluminum or enamel over aluminum, something like that. So it's a metal pen, but it's not really hefty. But when
Mhm.
it's posted, it's really sleek
Nice.
and well balanced. And
So
that
it looks
steel
like
nib,
the texture
yeah, go
doesn't
ahead.
come down onto the section, right? The texture stops at the, I
No,
see.
no,
Gotcha.
the section is like matte finish. And I don't find it slippery at all. And that texture is very, very sleek as well. I don't know, my camera keeps refocusing. But it also has a magnetic cap, which ends up
Love that
being
magnetic
what
cap.
modern people like about pens is their fidget spinners. So if you like fidget spinners, there you go. A really
You're gonna
cool
play
clip.
around with it all day.
It comes in two different colors. It comes in a kind of a navy kind of a blue, which is really, really nice. I wanted one of those, but they were sold out. So I got this black one. So it comes in navy blue and black, and
Mhm.
it only comes in one nib size, which I was concerned about because I like mediums more than fines.
Mm.
But this pen writes so beautifully right out of the box. Every diplomat I've ever used has always had an excellent, excellent nib. And it takes standard international cartridges and comes with a converter. And that's my pen check for today.
It's a beautiful pen check. It's a really nice pen. We had the CEO of Diplomat a few weeks ago in the show
Yes.
introducing this Viper, which was pretty cool. And it reminds me to the Lamy 2000 is Werner Tui saying that's indeed correct. It kind of has a similar vibe on it. We have a lot of back orders on it. We are waiting for the shipment, and it should arrive here by the end of this week or early next week. And then we are really happy. I think they will just bring it in like a big sea container because we have a lot of back orders on them with Diplomat. Because well, it's a big hit. It's a really affordable price point.
Yeah, that's
It's
the other
really
thing I
not
wanted to say. It's
expensive.
very affordable. It's in that
Yeah,
price range where most people would be able to get this pen.
yeah.
So it's not a Montegrappa or kind of price range. So
No chaos pen.
very good. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Doug, for your pen check. Queen Busy Bee also joined the chat. And Busy Bee, I think you want to see what the pen check is of Wendi today, right? So, Wendi, what is your pen check for today?
So I have a double pen check today because I did one in honor of Joost and one in honor of Doug. So
Okay.
my pen check in honor of Joost, I figured I better pick something that is actually for sale on Appelboom, right? I mean,
Sure, yeah, doesn't
maybe
matter. You can pick whatever
doesn't
you
matter,
want,
but I
whatever you
did.
like to use.
Never
So
bothered
I
me.
picked this new pen. This is a Scribo Feel,
Ooh,
and this is in the Promesa colorway. And I have my light on so you can kind of see that beautiful chatoyance. And I am what we call a flex enthusiast. And so this has the 14K flex nib. I'll do my little makeup influencer thing there. It says feel the flex on it, which I think is hilarious and awesome. It is a piston filler, and I am loving this pen. I just recently acquired it, and it's my favorite right now. I have to say, it is not my favorite flex nib of all time, but close. It's really good.
It's a really
And
nice
then,
piece. It's a really
yeah,
nice one.
it's really
I
good.
really
and
love the size of it as well.
you matched your nails to it as well.
I did. I always do that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's just a chance, just by chance. And then so when I first got into fountain pens a year ago, one of the first channels that I found was Doug's channel. And so I was kind of checking him out and checking out, all of his kind of tinkery ways. And I'm a tinkerer as well. I really enjoy finding new little hacks and things. And so I'm always swapping nibs and doing crazy stuff, mostly enabled by Doug. And so this is my pen check in honor of Doug. This is a Waterman's 452.5V with sterling silver overlay. It has a beautiful little tiny flex nib on it. And I resacked this pen, Doug.
Good for you. Congratulations.
It was
you
scary.
can do it too.
It was scary, but I did it. I did it. So that's my pen check in honor of Doug today. And then one more quick thing I have to show. Months and months ago, I bought a pen from Doug. Do you remember this, Doug?
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have that pen here as well. The pen that I bought from Doug is here as well.
That's the Tianzi.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Tianzi Starry Night. Show it a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's it's got like the galaxy on it and abalone shell in the shape of planets, and it's a Urushi lacquer Raiden pen. Rodden,
and
however you pronounce that.
Speaking of changing nibs around, this has a Pilot FA Falcon nib in it right now.
Cool.
Oh wow, so, that's really nice.
Don't tell the Pilot and Sailor people that I do that. I do it a lot, but don't tell them I do it.
Everybody
they typically don't like it.
Pilot doesn't care.
It's okay. It's okay. Becky is saying, "I love the Art Deco pen."
She would. That's her. That's her jam right there. That's her aesthetic for sure.
I think we all do. All right, let's have a look at my pen check because I have a very special pen here with me today. Did not hit the shelves yet, but I got one in to make videos, things like that. It has a really nice packaging. It's in Kaweco. It was introduced last week, and here it is. It is the Olivine. Is the new color in beautiful green, and we love green, of course, as Appelboom, because everything is green with Appelboom, but it's olive green. It's a really light green. It looks really nice, and it has a gold nib on it with gold details, with the vinyl is in gold as well. And yeah, it's just another great color, and I'm just wondering how many colors can Kaweco make before they hit like every
All of them.
every color in the entire world because
They'll
there's
make every
so
color.
many. There's so many colors right now.
It's
And
a
I'll tell
race
you,
between Lamy and
Lamy.
Kaveco. Yeah.
I don't love Kaveco pens. I don't love writing with Kaveco pens. I love the way they look. I think they're adorable. And I kind of
Mhm.
want that one because I like the color. Like, this is crazy. I don't need that. Joost, you're influencing me.
I'm so sorry. No, but the
That's
color
okay.
is really
It's my
nice.
job.
And so I've learned because we also do sometimes a special project with Kaweco, with the Dutch Pen Show, because this is anodized aluminum, it's really limited how many colors they can do on
Mm.
this material. So they're really running out of all the colors that they can do. So there will be a time that they have to say, we're so sorry, guys, or they have to reintroduce colors, but I'm not sure if they can do that. But
That's what
it's
they'll do.
yeah, it's
Just
the
call it by
thing
a
with
different
Kaweco.
name. Just call it by a
Right.
different name. Lammy does
No,
that.
that's something that only Mont Blanc does, right?
Oh,
That's not something that Kaweco. All right. That was the pen check. Let's start this podcast with a question from our previous guest for you, Wendi. Our previous guest, it was Frank Schelkens. He is the former managing director of Pilot Namiki here in the Netherlands. It was a really fun episode. We learned a lot, right, Doc?
mhm.
Because,
Yeah.
well, I wasn't aware that Pilot also made jewelry, but now I
Mhm.
do.
Me neither.
And well, he explained a lot of fun things. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure to do that after this, because right now we're
That was a
here,
lot of fun.
of
That's
course.
right. For
And
the
the question
Douglas Rathbun.
was, the question was for you, Wendi, or Frank, which pen would you choose if you would not pick one from your company? So he was assuming that we would have a guest from another pen company again, but this time, well, we have Wendi. But still,
Tricked
the
him.
question for you, Wendi, which pen would you choose?
Yep. So I do in fact work for a company, just not a fountain pen company. My
Mm-hmm.
company only gives out ballpoint pens. It's pretty boring. But I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it and I thought I could give a boring answer like I'd like to work for Pilot or, I would work for any fountain pen company. But what I would really want to do is make a conglomerate company of small companies and independent makers who could pool their resources for things like marketing and e-commerce, things that are boring, so that they could really focus their attention on innovation and bringing new things to the marketplace and kind of bringing the hobby forward. So I would
Oh, I
make my
think that's
own.
a great idea. I really like that.
Hey,
So
Shauna.
competition with Jaffa brands. Get a
Right.
get
Oh,
a
I'm going
whole
to be a
bunch of.
big competition for Jaffa,
Yeah,
believe me.
they're shaking in their boots.
Yep. I'm thinking more of like the guys making pens in their garage who don't want to deal with their e-commerce sites. I
Right.
think some of
Mm-hmm.
them
Yep.
are doing some really innovative things, and
That's
I
very
think
true.
they'd be happy to have some of that tactical stuff off their plates.
Yeah,
Not a
it's a
bad
lot of work,
idea.
running a web store, doing all
Yep.
the marketing things like that. It takes a lot of time. While the creative guys maybe better focus on what they can do really well.
Yeah.
I like that idea. All right, let's talk about newbie fountain pen users, people that start with their fountain pen journey.
Yeah.
Doug, Wendi, it
Yeah.
was your idea to
Yep.
have this conversation here.
Hmm.
So I didn't prepare anything because I thought let's have Doug and Wendi run this show.
Yep.
So well,
I said it's like
go
every
ahead.
other group project I've ever done. I did all the homework. So
Yeah.
we're all set. But I thought I would just, if it's okay, I'll just introduce myself and kind of talk a little bit about how I got into the hobby.
Yeah, sure,
Because when I was
please.
crowdsourcing questions for you guys that newbies would want to know, one of the things that they asked was how you got into it. So I'll tell how I got into it, and then maybe you guys can tell how you got into it. So
I like it.
a little over a year ago, I was hiking in the mountains. I fell off a cliff, like a literal actual cliff. Um, I printed up some visual aids because I think
Huh.
it's a beautiful
Do we
area.
have to
So
show a warning now?
here's,
Like, watch out! This
I
is
know, no, there's
okay,
nothing graphic. I didn't print any x-rays or
okay,
anything.
okay,
So
okay.
this is where I fell, right kind of here off of the side here. This is a hike I've done probably 100 times in my life.
Why
And I
did you
just didn't,
jump there?
I did not jump. It was just a miscalculation. It's a
Okay.
beautiful area of the Rocky Mountains. You can see this is the view from the top there. We had actually done the
Wow.
hike a week prior, and I just miscalculated. So I fell about 20 feet down a bunch of boulders. I am lucky to
Oh
have
no.
lived. but I broke my leg
Yeah.
really, really bad. And so I sat in a
Mm.
recliner for months and months. So this is my most graphic picture. You can see this purple circle is me there on the side of the cliff with the emergency
Okay.
responders there. They had to do a technical rescue with ropes and the whole thing. It was very crazy. But
Wow.
during that time, I was recovering and sitting in a recliner for a long time. I had a couple of major surgeries, and so I was looking for lap crafts. I needed things to
Mhm.
keep my hands busy, and I couldn't do watercolor. Was hard to set up, and it was pain to do on my lap. And I was trying all these different things, and I thought, I used to use fountain pens, and I really like them. Maybe I'll get into that again.
Mhm.
It went very quickly from I'd never spend $50 on a fountain pen to
Never.
Scribophile.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a very slippery slope. And so, like I said, I am a newbie, but not a novice. And so I have some questions teed up for you guys. But I am curious, Doug, how did you get into fountain pens?
Oh, okay. How much time do you have? It's kind of similar because you said that you had experienced them
You also
before and then
jump. You
sort of
also
got
jumped
re into them.
from a cliff.
He also fell off a cliff.
Yeah, down the rabbit hole.
That's right.
Yeah, I used fountain pens when I was in junior high and high school, and when I started my career in theater design, set and lighting design, I was doing a lot of architectural drawing. So I was using technical pens and mechanical pencils, and kind of put fountain pens away for most of my career. Then when I retired, I was looking for a Christmas present for a friend of mine who is a big fountain pen nerd all of his life. And I said, well, what can I get Ronnie for Christmas? And so I started looking, and I started seeing a lot of fountain pen channels like Stephen Brown
Mhm.
and David Parker, Fig Boot on Pens, reviewing different things. And I looked around and saw a number of Chinese pens that were fairly inexpensive, and you could get like three for like nothing. And I thought,
That's how I
well,
got
I'll,
started
I'll try
too.
to give those. So I got these three fountain pens, and they were Jinhaos. And my recollection of fountain pens in the past, and some of the ones I'd had while I was doing my career, it was always like really a scratchy experience, and I, try this one
Mhm.
and that one, and they were never satisfied. And right out of the box, this Jinhao wrote like a dream, and I went, wow. And I thought, well, I'll give one of these to Ronnie. Well, Ronnie's got Mont Blancs and Viscontis, and so I'm going to give him a Jim Howe for Christmas? No. So I kept the pen myself. I got him something like a cross or something like that for Christmas. But that whole research into it and looking at the YouTube channels and things and getting three pens for almost nothing compared to Western brands that wrote beautifully. Sort of I fell down that rabbit hole and
Mhm.
started exploring those
So we
and
both
sort
fell
of
into it, but
yeah, fell into it and sort of and then discovered the community. And
that's it.
like I had no idea. I had a YouTube channel because I play guitar and I was doing a lot of guitar videos with my friends. I had 100 subscribers, just friends, and I'd play a guitar thing, and my video would get 50 views. And then I thought, well, I had a number of gin houses. Well, I can do one of these reviews myself. So I turned on the camera, went blah 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 blah, posted the video, and I got 1,000 views. And wow, who knew there were people out there? And since then, that was like 5 years ago. Since then, I'm discovering an enormous collection of people around the world that are deep into fountain pens and the
Yeah.
and the lure of fountain pen world. So I have a question
That's
for you.
really
Oh, you
oh,
were going
sorry.
to ask
I was just
Joost.
gonna say that's really what has kept me in the hobby and really was part of my healing journey was the community and the
Yeah.
Yeah,
generosity, making
definitely.
friends and meeting people who were willing to share their experience and willing to help me along in my journey. So
Yeah.
how about you, Yost? I
Definitely.
think you got into this
Yeah.
family business, didn't you? Didn't you get forced into this?
It's not really forced, but of course, my father he had a bookstore with a pen with a
I
passion for
see.
pens. So with every certain milestone in my life, I got a pen. So it was already kind of pushed a little bit to me. And well, he passed away quite young, so I was quite young when I started running the business and learned how to do and run everything. I was like only 18 years old by then, so
Jeez.
it was yeah, it's not really pushed like that because my mother really gave me the option, like, okay, what would you like to do? Because I also was a soccer trainer back then, so
Mm,
she was really like, okay, would you like to do? Would you like to go further with your sport, or would you like to go
soccer
further
or
with the
pens?
pens? Just, whatever you choose is fine, but you have to make a decision at one point, because you cannot do both at the same time, because you have to really focus on one thing, otherwise both will fail, and that's not something that you want to do. So I decided to go with the pens, and well, look where we are right
Yes,
now.
here we are. And Douglas
Yeah.
and I have a lot in common because I actually have a music degree. My degree is in opera performance. So I've
Oh,
spent
wonderful.
Nice.
a lot of time on stage. And so if you're a
Hmm.
theater designer, we speak the same language a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. My daughter's an opera singer, trained opera
Is she?
singer.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I don't sing
yeah,
much opera anymore, but as I often say, classical musicians make money singing at churches. So that's
yeah.
my church, my side hustle singing job is a church job.
Yeah, cool. Very cool.
Nice, nice. All right, so that's how we all
I
started.
Yeah.
I have a question for Wendy because
Okay.
she had questions for us. Um, I, you know, people ask the first question is always, what got you into this? You know, how did you fall down the rabbit hole or fall off the cliff, as it were? But what was your first fountain pen experience, and
Okay.
what special pen might be in your mind as the one that's started you
Sure.
enjoying fountain pens?
Sure.
And I
So
also want to ask the people that are
yeah,
watching this right now,
yeah,
ask
tell
your
us.
questions in the comment section. We need
Yeah.
to have your input. Okay, sorry, Wendy, go ahead.
That's okay. So I had a lot of really good experiences as I was kind of getting into the hobby, and people reaching out and being very friendly and helping me along and letting me try things. And I bought a pen from an independent maker. It was a pen that someone else I know had, and I was pining after, and they couldn't get any more of the resin and they couldn't do it. And 6 months to the day after my accident, he contacted me and said, I have one more I can make for you. And so I actually have it here. This is my daughter will be so happy that I'm showing it. This is a Serendipity blank by Tim at Turnt Pen Co. in the Pisces model by Bart at Zodiac Pens. And I call this my I survived pen because it was like 6 months after that accident, I felt like I made it.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so this was kind of the first one where I was just like, it felt really, really special. It felt like something that was very meaningful to me. And I just recently commissioned Tim to do a custom blank and Bart to make another pen that I will call my I Thrive pen. So I survived
Ah,
and I thrive.
that's great. That's great.
I love it. What is yours, Doc? Now we're talking about it
Uh,
anyway.
I don't have it here with me, but my first fountain pen was a Schaefer student pen. You used to buy them
Mhm.
in a little blister
Mhm.
pack. It came with 5 cartridges, and hung on the shelf in the stationery store. Uh, and I don't have that pen anymore, but I remember being enthralled by the color peacock blue from Schaefer. Schaefer
Mhm.
script peacock blue. They don't make it anymore. Uh, but we were all, when I was in junior high, you're all forced to write with a Bic pen that was blue, and it was just standard blue. And I saw
Doc,
someone.
it's not allowed to swear here on the show. Can you please
Oh, okay.
Please do
watch your
not,
language?
please
Yes,
refrain
thank you.
from saying ballpoint.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, one of those pens, but invented by Mr. Biro.
Mm.
And everybody had the same blue. And
Mhm.
I saw someone next to me. I was cheating on an exam and saw her page, and it was this beautiful peacock blue. And so I went, and she was using a fountain pen. So I went and to the stationery store and bought one. They were like a buck, right, or a buck 50 or something like
That's
Mhm.
that.
funny.
And I used that pen all the way through junior high and high school, and then sort of put it aside for college and my career. And I lost that pen.
Oh, that's not good.
When I fell down the rabbit hole again, I searched eBay for something that was similar. So the something that was made in the 1970s, early 1970s, and I found a few. I've got 3 or 4 of them now. And what really stunned me was how small it is.
So small.
In my
My
memory,
friend,
it's like when you go back to public school
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all the drinking fountains are way down here and the lockers are really small. So it was like,
my friend
wow,
Jenny
that's
in the
small.
chat just recently found, I think she said it was a Schaefer student pen that she found at the thrift store that
Yeah.
she refurbished. She just showed it to me the other night. That's fun.
And you know what? They still write. And you shave a cartridge, and I put a cartridge in because I did a little video on my first fountain pen,
Mhm.
and I pull it out now and then because I use it for size comparisons and things. Pull the top off, and it writes. It had been capped full of ink for like a year. I pull the cap off and and it writes. I
It's
mean,
amazing.
$1 pen.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, sometimes the cheaper the pens are, the better they work for
Yeah.
some kind
Could
of
you
things. Not
say that
always.
again, Joost? You say that again. The cheaper they are, the better they work.
Yeah,
You heard
sometimes
it
they
here
are.
first, folks. Joost said it.
Definitely, definitely. I'm just honest.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
true.
It's
You
true.
can pick a Lamy
Sometimes.
Safari anytime and it writes. Of course, it's not always the case, but that also brings me to a question which I get a lot here in the store, because people are always wondering, like stainless steel pens, gold nibs. Stainless steel nibs, gold nibs. Like,
Mhm.
how much is there really a difference? Like, do you really experience a difference? And I'm just wondering, Wendy, what is your view on that?
My view. I think there's a use case for both.
Hmm.
I mentioned that my very favorite flex nib of all time is actually a stainless steel nib. It's
Hmm.
customized by a nibmeister and it's not a gold nib. Um, I think there's definitely a place for both. I think, especially for a kick around everyday pen, you can't beat the durability of a stainless steel pen. But
Hmm.
I think, especially with the ability to have nibmeisters customize pens, I think that, having the gold nib and having the flexibility is really fun to have. I got a few grinds at the Colorado Pen Show, several.
Too
And
many.
a few, I bought, let's say I got more grinds than I bought pens. How about that?
Hmm.
So
There you
that was
go.
good.
I like that.
But I think that there's a use case for either one. And I don't think people should think that gold nibs are the end all be all. I think you
I
can
have
have a
a
fantastic writing experience with the stainless steel nib.
I have a
Hmm.
more technical answer to that question about
I
gold
can't wait.
versus steel. Stephen Brown and I were discussing this when I went up to visit him one time about the difference between gold and steel, and the it's a misconception that steel is less flexible than gold, and gold is more flexible than steel because there are
Hmm.
examples on both sides of that. It has to do with the shape, not the material so much.
Yes.
And the tipping material on both gold and a steel nib is exactly the same. So what hits the road on your fountain pen is the same. So the big difference for me is longevity because I restore pens that are 80 years old. I restored
Yes.
one last week that had the nib was absolutely black, and I got it for a song on
I
eBay
saw that
because
one.
no
It
one
was
wants that
amazing.
disgusting old decrepit. Ugh, I hate that. Well, it took me 5 minutes of polishing it up, and it looked brand new.
You
So
really did.
gold does not degrade, does not rust. It's
Hmm.
No.
why we love gold, right?
Hmm.
Stainless steel doesn't have the same kind of longevity. It's going to, over the years, corrode, depending on
Hmm.
you take care of it, of course. But that's the big difference. If you want a pen to last 100 years, it's probably
That's
going to
true.
want to have a gold nib on it.
That's
So
true.
if you
Well,
want
at
to
least
pass
the
it
nib
down,
will survive. I'm not sure about the other parts because,
but
well,
as we've seen from Wendy, you just take the nib out and put it in some other pen.
That's right. You
Yeah,
do
there you
whatever you
go.
want.
exactly.
Yeah, whatever you want. There are
Very
no
easy,
rules.
very easy. All right. Talking about newbie writers, what fountain pen would you give to somebody that says, like, let's say your niece or whatever, like, I want to start with fountain pen again or start with fountain pen at all? What fountain pen would you give to that person? Because the gifting season is coming up.
Yes.
People are thinking about Christmas gifts, things like that. So let's see.
Yes. I have enabled a number of people, and I've given everything from Platinum Preppy all the way up through kind of a Twisby range to people. I've found some great deals on vintage pens that I've gotten for a couple people. But I think, I just have one here. I am delighted by a Pilot Kakuno because the smiley face nib just really speaks to me. And my very favorite thing is the Pilot Kakuno smiley face nib in a Pilot Prera. That is a really good entry-level pen. That's one that I give out quite a bit.
I like that. That's a really
I
good
have a
one.
similar answer to that. Similar. Same
Oh,
company,
come on,
Pilot.
Doug. That's boring. You have to come up with
Yeah.
something else.
Well, it is something different. And the pen that most people recommend for newbie fountain pen users is always the Pilot Metropolitan. And I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the Metropolitan. Um, I don't recommend it as the first fountain pen for people, but the Pilot Explorer is sort of like the unsung hero of the entry level. It's a fabulous fountain pen. It takes a Con 70 converter, and we all know how much Wendi hates the Con 40.
So
There
does
you
the
go,
Kakuno.
right? So does the Kakuno. And so the Con 70 is a much better, much larger capacity, and you can swap the nibs from one Pilot to another and get the one that you want. My Pilot Explorer has a what do they call it? They call it a calligraphy nib? I can't
The kind of
remember.
little
Do they?
stub.
Yeah, it's a little
It says
stub.
CM on it
That's
for
what
whatever
it says.
that's
Yeah,
worth. Calligraphy
yeah.
medium, whatever.
Calligraphy medium, probably. Let's go with that. But it's a fabulous little writer. And again, like my original Schaefer, you can leave it sitting there for months full of ink, and you pull the top off, take it out with you, and it just writes. And it writes an expressive line, and they're not that expensive.
No.
So that's the one I always recommend
That's a really good one.
for an
Werner
intro.
is also commenting that the TWSBI Eco is my favorite as a gift for someone who wants to start. It's a really nice pen indeed.
I have
The
a
TWSBI
follow-up
Eco, quite
question to that,
affordable.
though. What
But
do
the
you give
only
them
thing
ink
is,
with
it's
it?
yeah,
What
that's
ink?
the whole point because well, the TWSBI Eco is of course a piston fountain pen, and you
Mhm.
really, it's if you're a starter, you might first want to try out some ink cartridges which are easy to play with.
But give them a little bottle of ink, a TWSBI Eco, and a little a 2-inch long vinyl tube.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Use my vinyl tube hack. It's the
Yeah,
best.
yeah. Use the
that's all they
hack.
need. That's all they need. That's all they
I'm
need.
gonna do
All right.
I'm gonna do a video just showing that little hack, Wendi, if
Do it.
you'll let me,
I
because
love it.
I
Do
think
it.
it's a fascinating little
It
trick
really
that
is.
you
When
can
I saw
use.
that, I was like, okay, that sounds, because my problem is I like getting, I have all these ink samples that people are so generously sending me, and it's hard to fill up a fountain pen from an ink
Yep,
sample. Not
yep,
with the tube hack.
yeah. That's right.
It's
Not
very
anymore.
easy.
Not anymore.
Yep.
All right. Welcome, London Pen Company. It's great to have you join the chat as well. All right, guys, I need to talk a little bit about some new pens that arrived in the store or launching just now. But I just need to talk about it.
New products.
Well, the first one I want to introduce, it was launched yesterday. It is the Platinum 3776 Century, the Coffee Jelly Edition. So Platinum came up with a new series, Things I Like or Things I Love. I don't remember the exact name again, but it is about pens that that people love. And well, the Coffee Jelly is certainly something that people love. Favorite Things Collection, that's the name. Sorry. And it's a beautiful introduction of this series because it's made with a burgundy colored barrel, and I haven't seen it in real life yet, but I think it is a black colored cap and
And
piston
section.
knob.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From
and
what I
and,
can
and a
see,
grip
yeah.
section, but that's what I can see. So maybe it's a really dark brown because sometimes they try to play a little bit with that. But this is the Coffee Jelly, so I think it looks really nice. What do you guys think?
I think
Well,
it
I'm
looks
just looking
nice.
at it here as well in the photo,
Now I need to
and
pull
I
it
think
up.
you're right.
Mhm.
The cap and the section and the faux blind cap, because these are cartridge converter pens, right?
Mhm.
Are black. The hardware is
Yeah.
gold, but I love that deep burgundy brown kind of color on that. I think
Mhm.
it's a very sharp looking pen, and a lot of people just love the 3776. The
Yeah.
big
It's a
thing
really
for
nice
me
pen.
about the 3776 is the nib choices. there's a kit that you can get if you're a store. I think you probably have one that shows all of the different nibs you can try, and it has a pen for each one, and you pay a pad of paper, and you can go and try each one of these different nibs. I think there's like 12 of them that you can get for the
Yeah.
3776,
Or
and
you can come
There
to
are a
find
my
lot.
the
house.
sweet
You can
spot.
try
Yeah,
all mine too.
yeah. You
I don't have
got them
12,
all.
but I have a few.
No, yeah,
There are
yeah.
a lot of
So
ink.
it's actually
There are a lot
wonderful.
of nib options. The only problem with this special edition, or actually, I don't know if it's a special edition or limited edition. At least there are
Let's
2,000
see.
pieces made.
You only have 3 nib options.
You
Yeah.
only have 3 nib options, so it's fine, medium, broad, something like that.
You can switch it.
Yeah, you can easily switch it, but
Easy
you
switch
cannot
it.
buy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
really easy to switch. All right, another pen that I would like to introduce, which I actually have here. Actually, there are two. There are two Narwhal pens. First, let me start with this one. It's here is the Nahvalur Original Fall, and this is literally the first time that I'm opening this box, so I'm quite excited. It is the original model. And there you go. And it is a clear pen, but what is really nice about this edition is that it has this soft brown metal detail. So the clip is made with a brown PVD coating, but also the clip, but also the nib, this ring over here, this part over here, it's all made with brown metal PVD coating, which is really nice, I think. And it's I'm not sure what Narwhal did. They first wanted to introduce maybe as some kind of a coffee edition, because in the text and with the photos that that comes accompanied with it, they're talking about coffee brown all the
Coffee
time.
beans. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe because there are a lot of coffee pens lately
Seems like it.
introduced, and yeah, they just thought, let's jump off that name and call it Fall. So this is the first one. Wendy, what do you think?
I like it. It's the original. Is that what you said? So it's a
Yeah,
piston
it's the
filler.
original.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's the piston filler. Look, you can
Nice.
beautifully see how it works.
Yeah.
And you can just fill it up with brown ink. I think that's the whole idea that you need to do.
With the 2-pack.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's the first one of Narwhal. And the second one, it is the Nahvalur Voyage Cookies and Cream. I'm also opening up this one for the first time. Look.
Is that
This is the
who did
is
that
the
resin, I
Voyage.
wonder?
Yes.
It
I don't know
almost
if the
looks like
camera
a
picks it up.
Jonathan Brooks resin, but
Yeah, I don't know
I
if the
thought he
camera
had
picks
one
it
like
up, but there are some glitters in there, some
Nice.
sparkles.
Cool.
But the camera won't pick it up. I will make sure to make some B-roll footage and show it in there. But this pen is, of course, based on a very famous cookie with some cream inside there. I don't know if I can call the name or whatever,
Don't say
but
that
at least
name.
it's called Cookies and Cream.
Sandwich cookie.
Well, the Oreo,
Yeah.
I think, of course, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So round on both ends. Yeah. Oreo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And well, it's a really nice piece. I think it has an ink window, as you can see,
Mm-hmm.
and it works with a piston filling mechanism as well.
Cool. And what model is that?
This is the Voyage.
Voyage. Okay.
Voyage. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Voyager,
Voyager.
if you're American. Voyage, if you're French or Dutch, I guess.
Well, they just say it's Voyage, Voyage. So Voyage.
Yeah, Voyage.
Okay.
Something like that. But at least it has a black nib, black trim.
It's not the most difficult thing to spell when it comes to Narwhal. Their name is the most difficult thing to spell.
Yeah. They can do some more difficult things. But so this is the Cookies and Cream with black metal details, and it's really nice, I think. All right. So now we got 3 pens: the Platinum, the 2 Narwhal pens, and we have a 4th pen. I don't have it here. It was just launched last Monday. It is the Graf von Faber-Castell Pen of the Year, Ottoman Empire. Well, as you know, the Pen of the Year of Graf von Faber-Castell is always quite of a big thing, with a lot of special little details in there. And Doug, you prepared something, right?
I prepared something. Yeah, I looked at the photo 2 minutes ago, and then I looked at the price, and I went, "Oh, okay. This is my entry level pen for anybody interested in writing with fountain pens." Of course, it came up
Exactly.
in Canadian dollars on my Appelboom website, and it's more than my home is worth, I think, in Canadian dollars. But it has really, really interesting lines to it. It has a sort of a knife blade clip on it and
Hmm.
some wonderful decoration, Ottoman, obviously. But it's this emerald kind of blue, or not emeralds aren't blue. It's this jewel-like blue with these red jewels on the outside. I think it's a metal pen, right? And
Yes.
uh, I just lost it on my channel here. There we go.
Yeah.
It's back again.
So the barrel,
But
it has like a guilloche pattern on it,
yes,
in the lacquer, which is really
and the
nice.
section as well. But the
Yeah.
lacquer, so it's got blue guilloche kind of a pattern, banded by what looks like chrome.
Hmm.
Um, and I can't tell what kind of filler it is. Well,
This
I'm
is a
looking at
piston
the
filler,
top
I
finial.
know.
It's got a turtle on the. It's got a turtle with a candle on it on the top. That has to
Hmm.
do with some kind of
I was like,
mythology from the Ottoman
okay.
Empire, I would think. And
Definitely.
it doesn't say what kind of filler it is.
It's a piston filler mechanism.
It is a piston filler. I would hope
Yeah,
so.
but you have to so there's the barrel. It's kind of covering the mechanism. So you have to remove the barrel, and in
Yeah,
there it houses the piston filling mechanism.
I see.
So
I
it
see.
means if
Okay.
you want to use it, activate the piston mechanism, you have to remove the barrel. So it's quite a well. They did their best.
Well, it's a fascinating looking pen, and those that are into that kind of iconography
Yeah.
from the Ottoman Empire would be fascinated by this pen.
Hmm.
I think I should review that pen. So send me one, Joost,
Sure.
and
I'll,
I'll
you know,
review it too.
what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to find somebody from Graf and Faber-Castell to join the podcast, and then
that would
they
be
can just
terrific.
send one
There
over
you
to
go.
you, and then they can explain
Perfect.
exactly what this pen is all about because it's
I
really
always look
intriguing.
at these pen of the year from Faber-Castell. I have a wonderful brick and mortar stationery and fountain pen store here in Calgary, Reed's Stationers downtown, and they have a great big Graf von Faber-Castell display. And every year it's behind glass, the pen of the year. I get
Mm.
to push my nose against the glass and say, "Oh." But it costs too much even to bring it out and to
Yeah.
write with it with white gloves and stuff like that. But it's lovely to see these works of art, and that's generally
It's
what you're
definitely,
looking at here.
Yeah.
This is a work of art.
yeah. Well, actually, we have one collector who really writes with it that I know of. So it's you can also use it as a fountain pen, but a lot of people are have it as a collectible
An
item and just look
art
at it.
piece. Yeah.
The
Yes,
nib is
It's a
exactly.
gorgeous.
beneficial piece. I bet.
The
All
nib
right.
has got the pen of the year on it with the crest from
Mhm.
Faber-Castell. It's a two-tone gold and palladium, or
Mm.
gold and
It's a really big nib as
amber.
well.
Yeah,
It's a
really
special
big.
nib. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see, Wendy. I have a question here for you from the pen doctor. If you buy a new pen like one day before and someone tell you he liked the pen, did you give him or not?
So are you asking me if I'm going to give you a pen that I got one day before? It depends. If it's a Pilot Kakuno, maybe. If it's a Scrigglefield, definitely not.
Not so
I'm
much.
so sorry, but no.
if
But I
if
will
it's
let
a
you
Graf and
use it.
Faber-Castell pen of the year, maybe not.
No.
Not so much.
Not gonna happen. All right, Doug, do you have a last question for Wendy?
Yeah. Since you aren't new to fountain pens, but you're new to the fountain pen community,
Mhm.
I wondered what has surprised you most from the pen community at large. I mean,
Easy.
your entry into it with YouTube and so forth. What
Yeah, it's
surprised you
been
the most?
the thing that has surprised me the most is the kindness and the generosity of the people in the fountain pen hobby. people are always willing to share their knowledge and tell you what they know and let you use their pens and send you things. I had a couple people be like, "Oh, you love that ink? I have it. I don't really like it. Let me send it to you." You know, just very kind and generous. And I've met wonderful people here locally and people all over the world through a couple of Discord servers that I'm on and some other things. And so for me, that's really been the big surprise, is the generosity and the kindness of the people in the community.
Yeah, I was overwhelmed by that as well. Mine's the same answer. I was not only surprised at the number of people and how many people there were, and enclaves of people
Yeah.
around the world, but how generous people are, that they
Yes.
just they want you to experience what they experienced. Here, try
Exactly.
this. The first couple
Excited
of
to
pen
share.
clubs I went to, I was inundated. Try this, try that, try that. I can't even breathe. And people have got 5, 6 pens. Try this one, try that one. It's wonderful, wonderful community.
That's me now. I'm
People
always
just
shoving
force
pens
you
in
to
people's
use your
faces.
fountain pens. It's like really pushing you. So
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. The pen doctor saying, no, I don't need any pen. I ask if your any relative asks you this pen is cool, but you brought the pen one day ago, did you give him or not?
Like I said, it depends.
Mhm.
It depends. Sometimes I'm always surprised when I share my kind of uncomfortable passion about fountain pens with people. Like I really get, kind of pushy about it. And then I'll find out from them that they went and bought a fountain pen later. That always kind of warms my heart. Like,
Mhm.
oh, it did sink in. I love it.
Then you're a true penfluencer if you do
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Welcome
I
to
have
Jilly.
one more question. Can I ask one more question of you guys? This was my favorite question that
course.
came up when I was trying to crowdsource some questions.
Mhm.
What is some common advice you hear given to newbies that you disagree with?
You disagree with.
Yeah.
I had an example. Let me see if I can find my example. Or dealer's choice. You can have that question, or you can have, is there something about any pen that's a complete deal breaker for you? Like a metal section, or the pen smells weird, or like what are the things that are complete deal breakers for you?
I think for the deal breaker would be if it doesn't write out of the box.
It's a good one.
That's a big thing.
That's something that Stephen always goes on about, that it has to write out of the box. You wouldn't buy a car and you're going to drive it off the lot and the car won't start, the engine's broken. You just wouldn't accept that. That's what he says all the time, and I agree that the pen should write out of the box. So that's the deal breaker. If it can be fixed, it's okay. But
yeah, Becky says I'm the great penabler. I have penabled Becky hardcore. Poor thing. She's in it now. She's in it.
I think the disagreeing
Welcome,
thing,
Becky.
what do you disagree with?
Yeah, that's a
people
really
say
interesting
all the
question.
time?
I'm also not.
Mine
One of
is
the
related
things,
to the gold
that's what
and
I
the
was going to say.
steel. People always talk about, oh, gold is better than steel. It's not.
No,
It's different.
I agree with that.
And they have different properties, but you can, with a good nibmeister, like you have there at Appelboom, you can make any nib, regardless of what its composition, what its material is made of. You can make any nib write exactly the way you want it to write.
Yeah. I'm lucky here in Colorado. I have Kirk Spear is my local guy. So
then you're really lucky.
I have a good
Jack
resource.
Jack Hernandez is my guy here in California. Yeah. Find
It's always
a
convenient.
nibmeister. There's another newbie piece
That's
of
another
advice.
tip.
Find yourself a nibmeister
The other thing
and
I would say
befriend
is
them.
find a pen show or find a pen meetup
Club.
because people will force their pens on you to try, and you'll have the opportunity to try a whole bunch of stuff without having to buy a bunch of stuff. I think that's
At my
one of the
last pen club
misconceptions.
meeting last week, I was doing a review of a Chinese knockoff of an OMOS, and I didn't have the OMOS. And so one of my viewers said, well, why don't you ask Murray, my friend Murray, our pen club president? Why don't you ask Murray if he has one? And so I wrote Murray, I said, do you have an OMOS 360? And he says, yeah, I have several of them. Which one would you like? So we went to the group, and he had like 4 or 5. Which ones do you want? So they said, whenever you have a question, if you don't have that pen, someone in the group has it that you can borrow.
Find your group and get
Yeah.
connected with them.
Again, the generosity.
Werner is saying it's not only a community, but it's also a family.
Yeah,
And I
true.
cannot disagree with that.
It's very true.
All right, guys, we're really at the end of the show here. But Wendi, you have to come up with a question for our next guest to start the show with.
Okay, I have my question all ready. So I mentioned the Pilot Kakuno. I love the Pilot Kakuno. I love to enable people with it because the cheeky little nib makes me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
So my question for the next guest is, which historical figure would use this cheeky little platinum preppy as their everyday carry were they alive in 2024? And you can't say Mozart because everyone knows Mozart is cheeky and he would use
Which
it.
historical figure? So once again, because I have to write it down. Which historical figure?
I'll email it to you, Joost. You don't have to write it down. Which historical figure really would use a Pilot Kakuno as their everyday carry?
Okay, a Pilot Kakuno for its everyday use. Well, that would be a really interesting question for the CEO of Monte Grappa, because Giuseppe Aquila will be our guest for the next show, and I'm really looking forward to his answer on this. All right, guys.
You might say what's a Pilot Kakuno, but that's okay.
No, actually, Giuseppe is quite informed about what's going on. He's in the business for quite a long time, so he knows what's going on. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here, Wendi. Truly appreciate this talk about newbie pens, beginners, and everything like that, because I think it's a topic that needs to be discussed more, indeed. Because we can talk really deeply about whatever brand, but this is always a fun topic to discuss. And thank you everybody that was joining the show here in the comment section. Really helped a lot. All the support, all the questions, truly appreciate it. Doug, thank you so much
for
being the
having
co-host
me again.
and your input. Yes, it's always a lot of fun.
I'm
so
ready
now
for
you can go back to
Grappa.
bed again.
Yeah, I'm ready for Monte Grappa.
Oh, that's
look at that.
Little sneak preview of my pen check.
Is the Mia, right?
No, it's the beauty book.
Oh, the beauty book. Yes, I see it now. Really
beautiful.
Nice.
Look at that.
Okay, more about that next week. Guys, everybody, thank you so much. If you're watching this live, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Head over to the YouTube channels of Inquiring Minds and FountainPenNews as well to join there and watch the movies, especially the videos, especially the video with the tube of Wendi, because that's a really interesting hack. It's a live
hack. Feel
actually.
free to ask any questions. Any questions are fair game. If you have questions or want to know about anything, I'm sure Doug and I are both more than happy to answer any questions that might come up.
Of course.
Definitely. All right, guys. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever, make sure to follow the podcast so you won't miss out on an episode anymore. And we will be back next week. So thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wendi. Thanks, Joost.
Have a great day. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.